and we're going to talk about what happened here in this office specifically with real people, with real patients. They'll tell you the stories, what happened to them and how they heal themselves. So, but before we do that, while people still gathering and getting together, I will talk about a little bit about ourselves, our practice, our office, what our mission, and what are we all about. So this is regular, normal OBGYN office, Central Park Medical. We've been around almost 20 years here in Midtown Manhattan, practicing bread and butter GYN, at some point delivering babies, and now just serving women's health. And then later on, we started also looking into holistic ways to heal and help people. Because in some cases, we found that in some conditions, unfortunately, Western medicine cannot answer certain questions and give us good results, unfortunately. And this doesn't mean that we are not accepting Western medicine. Absolutely not. I am still Western medicine doctor practicing standard of care and incorporating holistic approach, which includes nutrition, which includes discussing lifestyle changes, modifications, yoga, meditation, spirituality. We're combining everything all together. And today we're going to talk about all these aspects and how each of these people and many other people who are probably online achieved those results. And some people didn't believe in this. Some people are religious and they have, they have strong belief and they did it because of religion. Some people are not religious at all. Some people are spiritual, but everybody received a miracle, and they're going to be reporting those miracles today. So in this practice, when person comes in, we approach person as a whole. It's important to know not only details about your physical body, but your emotional body and or about your spiritual body. And if you really go deep, if you believe in past lives, karma, whatever you call it, because all of these teachings that we have, ancient teaching that's been around for thousands and thousands of years, this is not something new. We're just trying to recollect as humans today, and we're trying to put it together and create something beautiful. And the most important thing, we're trying to create here in Manhattan, the heart of New York, which is going through the darkest time at this moment. We're trying to create a community of light. We're trying to create a community that is aware how much your emotions, your nutritional deficiencies can actually affect your physical body and how that can create physical disease. It's true, it's right, it's real. And if you know, if you believe in that, you can actually unravel and go back to your healthy self. So we use different modalities here. We do use, of course, mainstream medical. We offer that. If you are someone who wants to have mainstream medical medications, antibiotics, it's your choice. But we also have a choice. We offer you a choice of approaching it holistically, which includes checking your vitamin levels, providing nutritional counseling, providing spiritual counseling. We also have breathwork ceremonies that we go into talk, and some people who experience that, they will tell you that experience in EESystem doing the breathwork is nothing like anything. So they will attest to it and they will tell you their experiences. Breathwork. We talk about so many other modalities, and also including law of attraction, which is, for some reason, people call it woo-woo, but it's just a simple magnetism. So you're probably going to listen to it, and I'll try to keep it in the realm of that understanding that some people who don't believe in law of attraction and universal forces, that's fine. That's fine. We're not judging anybody. We're here to heal. So we try to cater it for those who are logical people, which is great. I used to be that way. And all the way to spiritual, and we could go deep if we need to. So with that being said, I would like first to give overview of human body, so everybody would be on the same page, and then it will be easier for us to understand how this particular machine works. But before we talk about physical body, we're going to have to talk about universe that we live in, our solar system that we live in. We're part of this universe. We're part of this globe that's spinning around with the perfect proximity with other planets and created for us. And we earthly creatures, and we're designed to live here. We're designed to be in sync with beautiful Earth, with the magnetic pole of the beautiful Earth. And even if it's shifting, it doesn't mean anything. We're shifting as well. Planets are spinning around us, creating certain energies around us that also affect us. And it would be silly to assume that it's not real, because now, me being a medical doctor and other medical professionals in the ER, we know when it's a full moon, ER would be probably packed with crazy, crazy stuff. We know that. Why? Because it's already known that full moon can affect ebb and flow of the ocean. And if you are 80%, 85% water, what makes you think that it doesn't affect you? It does. And because you're water, your emotions are electricity, and the water is the best conductor. As a result, you receive certain emotions, you trigger a certain hormonal response in your body, certain neurological response in your body, and as a result, you create physical response in your body. So if you really look through the whole thing as a one big picture, then it's easier to understand how we here on this planet can not fit in, but be comfortable, because we're designed to be here. We're designed to be on this planet. We have all these. Thank you. Yeah, so that's what it is. And I would like to also invite you into this system called chakra system. Just a little overview, because each of those systems, if you go with the Chinese medicine, if you go with Ayurvedic medicine, they all talk about life force. They talk about prana, they talk about chi, which is basically, it's the energy of life. Definition of life is energy moving through us constantly. And we are the vessel that every time when we walk around, that energy goes through me and goes up and goes down. And it creates this toric field around us, which, if it's flowing, then this is where well-being is. This is when we feel the best. This is when we feel happy. Hi, come on. No problems. You can have a seat here. Make yourself comfortable. So, and in some cases they call it toric field. In some cases they call it electromagnetic field. In some, sciences. And in some cases they call it aura. It doesn't really matter. We're talking about the same modality. We're talking about the same feature that the human body has. So here I am walking around, walking magnetic instrument that is constantly pulsating my own energy and pushing it through me. And it's going through the vessel called Kundalini in Ayurvedic medicine, the spine chi in medicine of Oriental medicine. But it's all about going through your spine, your spinal cord, that has certain certain connection or certain, I would say, energetic points where it's concentrated and it's responsible for certain emotions, energy emotions. So the lowest one is responsible, not the lowest, it's not like a lower than something else. It's just the first chakra, we call it, is responsible for the emotions of, if it's balanced, confidence, I belong. This is your courage. This is where you get up and look for food. This is the center that helps you to survive. The second one, when it's balanced, is responsible for your creativity. It's also responsible for your sense of humor. Like you have sense of humor that when you can say something and it's very funny, that is one chakra, but you also can prank someone. So the pranking part is actually your second chakra because you're so creative. It's also responsible for you to see opportunities in business, to see opportunities in relationships. It's also sexual chakra, not sexual in the term, like, yes, it is sexual, but it's also in terms of like sexual energy of creation when we create another human being. That's also part of that as well. And then if you have very balanced solar plexus chakra, it's your power. It's a powerhouse. It's your solar plexus. I'm benevolent, I am strong, I'm powerful. And if I am powerful and balanced, I don't need to hurt anybody. I don't need to bring anyone down. I'm so powerful, I love you anyway. I'm not scared. And then another very important chakra is chakra's heart. The heart is the center of love. And not the love that, oh, I love you type of love, but just universal love. When you accept everything the way it is, that's the real love, unconditional love. Yeah, bad weather, yeah, it's just the way it is. Something bad happened, yes. So this is the real unconditional love, comes from balanced heart chakra. Throat chakra is when you voice yourself, when you express yourself, when you funny with words. That's also throat chakra. And then you have intuition, it's your third, and then crown chakra, we call it chakra of antenna, when you connect to the whole universe, creator, God, Jesus, Buddha, whatever you believe in, this is the antenna. So the definition of life is the moving of this energy. You have to move. If the energy stops moving, that's the definition of death. This is when we die. This is when we leave the body. Okay. So this is just a quick overview. So what happens is when you in the machine, in the room with the EESystem, it helps to move that energy through your entire system. When people ask me, is that good for diabetes? Is that good for asthma? It doesn't matter really, because all these medical conditions that we have today is the language of modern medicine. And again, I'm not putting down modern medicine. I'm a representative of modern medicine, but we don't have enough in our modern lexicon to explain that. Okay, so this is completely a different way of looking at the problem. Does it help? We can't say as a medical professionals, yes, it does, because we don't have studies saying, oh, it does help. We have so many patients with this condition and we had this type of relief or this type of results. We do not have that scientific data yet, but we have some scientific data about this machine where we could measure the voltage of your cells, and that is your chi. Chi, prana, life force has a charge. And if your charge is elevated, you feel great. Your chi is floating and flying, and you're flying, you feel great. But if it's low, this is when everything slows down. So typically when we happy running around, especially when we young, especially when we kids, we don't have any medical problems, our charge of our cells, the voltage is between 70 to 80. That's the optimal. This is when we feel the best. Then life, we eat certain foods, we drink certain things, we take certain medications, we get exposed to certain toxins, and the charge starts going lower and lower and lower. And body gets adapted to it. So when you, let's say, healthy person in your 40s and 50s, healthy, feeling okay, your charge is probably around 50 to 60, maybe the most. But then if it's still going down, if you have inflammatory processes, it goes lower. If you have depression, it goes even lower. And then when you reach 20 millivolts and lower, this is when cancer starts. So this is the only measurable results we have. If you ask from the scientific standpoint, in scientific labs, they were able to measure cells, the voltage of the cells before and after, and show that the voltage goes from, if you spend 1 hour in the EESystem room, your voltage goes between 70 to 80. That is proven. That is the science. We have that proof. The rest, we're collecting data. We're still collecting data, but we're getting great results with that data. And I'm sure in 5 years, we're going to have so much. Our center, other centers, we all collaborate and get together, and we're going to have great results, and we're going to show them, and we're going to be able to say, this many patients with diabetes, these results are asthma, results are these. And then we have cancer patients, that's what we have. We're going to be able to do it. At this moment, we don't have that, but it's coming. You will be here. So the most important thing to understand how this machine works. Remember, I was talking about universe. Everything came from Big Bang. Everything came from split of the atom. Everything came from nothingness. And then from nothingness, something happened. So everything came from field of potential. So that is a scalar energy, the field of potential. So when you sit in that room, you have 4 towers emitting energy. And when they emitting this energy, they creating this vortex of that scalar energy, which is energy of potential. That's why when people come to heal here, I always tell them, fall asleep, and as you're falling asleep, make sure that you are visualizing yourself as a person who never had this problem before. Why it's important? Because if you are doing this quantum jump, you don't have to heal anything. If you have that in your brain that you don't have to heal anything, you're going to get results faster. And we had amazing results. And today we're going to talk about this, and these people will attest that that's what happened to them. One interesting phenomenon that happens, I have a couple of diabetic patients, type 1 diabetes. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Sugar goes low. Like as soon as they spend 1 hour in the EESystem room, all of a sudden sugar starts going down. So we don't understand this phenomena yet. We're trying to unravel and understand, but I'm sure in a couple of years, we're going to have more data and we're going to see what exactly is happening. So besides the energy, you also have physical body, and the physical body needs nurturing. So you need to have good food in your body. You need to have vitamins in your body. You need to have minerals in your body. So what we know today, a lot of us, especially in New York, even if we're fit, we're still deficient in certain nutrients. Even if we feel great, we're still deficient in certain nutrients. And in some cases, let's say if you're running low on magnesium for many, many years, you finally can develop certain diseases. Like, for example, mitochondria needs magnesium. Your brain needs magnesium. And as a result, you age faster. So speaking of mitochondria, there's so many other micronutrients that's needed to boost your mitochondrial function. And that's why we practice here, not only EESystem, but also IV therapies in the room. So imagine being in the room, meditating, and receiving IV fluids filled with goodies, NAD, vitamins, minerals, all these good things, all these cocktails, you're receiving it. So you're not only receiving the nurturing cocktail, that fluid is also being charged with this energy around it. So what it does, it really makes you feel high. So you feel really good. And some patients actually really tell us that I feel so happy. I feel happy when they leave. So that's what also we incorporate here. We also do breath work, trauma release breath work, because it doesn't matter how much you try to heal yourself, but if you have some programs in your subconscious that could be coming from your life, from childhood, from the recent life, traumas, experiences, if you believe in past life, from the past life, it doesn't really matter. It's a program that affects your behavior, affects your feelings, affects your emotions, and thus can affect your physical well-being. So during those breathwork ceremonies, we release those traumas. We feel great, and doing it in that room also elevates and make it feel really good. So I can talk about this till tomorrow, but I was given only 25 minutes, and it's 25 minutes almost. So that's why I'm going to have to also give some room for people who experienced the best out of this. So the first person that I'm going to introduce is Alex. She's going to talk about her experience. She's going to tell herself, but she is my patient, and she'll tell you her story, what happened to her before when she came here and where she is now. The best part is it's not only physical that people achieve. I have a lot of patients who actually achieve, like I said, law of attraction. You have this field of potential, and when you see there and you visualize what you want, you attract what you want. They become successful. They get easier. Those goals that they have, they get it easier. So it's amazing how it all changes. And here's Alex. She is going to tell her story. Beautiful Alex.
Hi, everyone. I've been coming to this office for about a year now. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 13 years old. Looking back, the disease is definitely a result of mental and arguably spiritual crisis. You probably know this, but type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes are a bit different. So type 2 diabetes is a result of eating food without nutritional value, sort of changing the way your hormone insulin opens the cells and allows the food, the nutrients to enter your cells. So type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes, sorry, is a disease that can go away. You're not stuck with that. Type 1 diabetes, we don't know what causes it. It's what happens is the pancreas shuts down completely, and I have to inject insulin up to 9 times a day to make sure that my cells open and take in the nutrients so that I can, survive. It's a very manual disease, and up to a point, I was doing well. So at 13, I was diagnosed, and until about 26, everything was fine. My A1C was about a 6.1. And then suddenly the responsibilities with work started to become more intensive, and Western medicine was not addressing my issues anymore. My cells were not taking in the nutrients despite how much insulin I took. Looking back, there were 2 things going on when I was 13. I grew up in a very poor community, so my mom married a man who's very wealthy in Germany, and when I was 6 months old, they separated. And my mom took me back to her hometown in Mississippi, where it was essentially a food desert. I didn't have a grocery store with access to fruits and vegetables. My mom couldn't afford milk. I drank Coca-Cola out of a baby bottle. And this went on for many years. And I was sort of a burden to the family. And that space within me, to the doctor's point, just sort of grew and attracted energies that were very heavy. So you can imagine if you're a young person, 4 years old, and you're sick, and your mom blames you for being sick because she can't afford to help you to pay the medical bills. You can't fix your own problem, and you can't reach out to anyone to fix to find solutions for your problems. So when I was finally diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at 13, I did not feel comfortable reaching out for help. And it was such a traumatic diagnosis that I did not feel comfortable going into my own body and figuring it out. To the doctor's point, I think I had the vitality of youth to keep me going. So I wasn't sick. Everything just kind of, ran its course. I studied in school. I knew I had to get out. I knew I had to make money. So I became very successful in that way until, and that's to say I was able to feed myself. I was able to learn how to take care of myself, but that is as deep as I could get into my body and as close to my disease as I could get before touching the trauma. So at 28, jobs, more responsibility, everything started to fall apart. And I'm 34 now. I went, from 28 to 33, really suffering. Depression, which again lowers your energies, lowers your fight for finding solutions, because I would go doctor to doctor and they would tell me, this is a problem, which is what I heard my whole life, of course. And I said, yes, I know it's a problem, but what is the solution? And no one could tell me. And my sister, my half sister, so my dad's other girl, has gone through similar issues. So we have an interesting spiritual relationship where she will find the angels like this doctor, and then sabotage her relationship with the doctor. But I will find out about the doctor and then, or the person, there are a few people out here like this, and then build a relationship with that person. And that's how I found out about this office. She was complaining about the dandelion water that she recommended. And I thought, oh, this doctor knows her stuff. So I came in about a year ago, and I think this was the first time I felt a psychological safety with the doctor. So I was able to feel like I was kind of able to face my mortality in a sense, where she saw my suffering and it wasn't a crisis for once. It wasn't a huge problem. She put me by the machine. She helped me breathe through it. Memories, as you breathe, you start at the bottom and you kind of move memories, and then certain feelings are attached to those memories through your body and out. And you do that in the presence of these machines, and the feelings don't really go away, but you detach from the feelings, which is what allows you to go into your body, sort through your boxes, and clear out the trauma if you have it. And suddenly the insulin started working again. My A1C has dropped. It was at like a 7.9. It's at a 6.1 now. To her point, the problem now is keeping it up and not being afraid of it being so low, because I'm not used to not having diabetes. I mean, I still have it in the sense I take insulin, but my daily life supports me now to where it's as if the disease isn't affecting me. I saw my eye doctor 6 months ago, and she said a miracle must have happened, because all of the eye damage, the vessels that had started to wither away in the back of my eye, which is the beginning of blindness, are now healed.
She said that you're going to be blind.
Yeah. She said I would be blind in 10 years. And now everything's growing again, which she says she's never seen before. Harvard trained doctor, very, respected in her field. And she says she's never seen it.
That's the real miracle.
Yeah, that's the real miracle. That's it.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
So, yeah, she did a great job, and it's not like the place or machine heals you. The most important thing to understand is the person herself. Alex herself did tremendous job. We only guide you here. Machine creates that space. You do the work, but it feels so good when you get results. And here she is, beautiful, successful. Her and her husband, they like.
Oh, my husband has a story too.
Yeah, her husband, yeah, he's on the business trip right now, but he has a story too. So, yeah, the next miracle story, or just a report, the breath work, comparison of breath work, because Alex was referring to breath work, which healed her trauma and then healed her diabetes in that room. Now, you would say, oh yeah, breath work, I've tried breath work. I tried breath work in many places, in many, many, many interesting places. But the breathwork results that you get and the feeling that you get during and after and results after are amazing. So Juliana was one of them who got to experience. She's a very seasoned practitioner in breathwork and yoga. And so she's someone who you cannot just surprise with anything. She's seen it all, but she's been to Burning Man's and all these things. But this is something that she's going to tell you what happened to her with the breathwork.
Hello, hi, my name is Juliana, and I've been a patient in this clinic for about a few years, 3, 4 maybe at this point. And my journey started about 9 years ago when I was going through divorce, and I pretty much hit my bottom. And from that point, it's either you go up or you stay there. And I'm in my 40s, and I'm much healthier now than I was in my 20s. And I had several health issues, from gastroenterology, thyroid, gynecology issues. I've been diagnosed, I've been through numerous tests for brain tumor. And we live in society when everybody wants a magic pill, and there isn't any. We can try as much as we want, but it's very important to start the work and go within. If there would be a magic pill, it would be so easy. And I pretty much started breath work about maybe 8 years ago, 7 years ago. And I was practicing meditation. I've been through numerous retreats. And I'm pretty good at breath work, but what I experienced in the room yesterday with a small group of other patients, that everything happens so fast, and my pineal gland activated super fast. My energies were moving much faster and easier. I didn't have to struggle. I didn't have to sit and spend time and work on it. Everything just magically happened. And also very selectively chosen music and vibration, and doctor did an amazing work with that. Everything was smooth and easy. So I didn't try it before, and I was surprised. It was a very good discovery. And in general, in just a few years, my health got so much better. I have hardly any health issues anymore. I don't take not a single medication, not even for my thyroid, even I'm still working on it. I do take a lot of supplements. I'm very religious with my nutrition. And just staying in contact with Shahnoz and trusting her was very, very important, because like Alex said before, we all feel home here, and it's very comfortable, it's very safe. And it's very, very important because a lot of doctors, they just want you give a pill and they send you out. And if this pill doesn't work, they give you another pill. That's why some people take 5, 7, sometimes 10 different medications a day. And this was beautiful, beautiful experience. It was, I'm very thankful. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. By the way, those who are on Zoom meeting, you guys, if you would like to also share, if any of you are there, would like to share your experience with us, or in general with the EESystem, please raise your hand and moderator will pick you, and then we will unmute you and you will be speaking as well. So this is interactive meeting, so to speak, or event, whatever you call it. So And the next person who will be speaking is the real miracle. Everything is a real miracle, but that was so fast. We're talking not days, we're talking a couple of hours when we saw the difference. We still can't believe that this happened to us, but it happened to us. And the real person who experienced this, she will be telling us what happened. She had diagnosed with uterine cancer and colon cancer and spread metastases, and she was on heavy painkillers, which didn't help her. She was in tremendous pain. And when she was brought to this clinic by her aide, she was in a wheelchair, couldn't move at all, crying because she was in so much pain. And then when I took her to the room, she's a beautiful soul that believes in God. And I said, just remember how Jesus used to heal or heals. He wouldn't see you dripping illness. He would see you in wellness. Speaking of the person who never had sickness before, see yourself that you never had pain before. Because we don't claim that we cure cancer. We don't. And I told her, I cannot cure your cancer. I cannot promise that. But at least we need to at least make you feel better. And she said, I don't expect to cure cancer. I just want to be pain-free. I want to be comfortable. So we sat in the room. I put her in the room and I said, just fall asleep. And as you're falling asleep, see yourself healed, comfortable, not in pain. 2 hours later, I went to check on her. Her aide and other patients who saw her coming here were sitting in this area. My girls, everybody was sitting in this area. When I went there, big smile on her face. She had a beautiful face. You're going to see her. She's a beautiful person. She was pain-free. She said, I'm not in pain anymore. So we got up, no more wheelchair. We got together. Of course, I helped her a little bit, but we went through this hallway here. When she came out, everybody's face was frozen. They were like, what happened? Because the difference, only 2 hours. She was in tremendous pain, couldn't move. And 2 hours later, she's smiling and she's walking out without the wheelchair. So her name is Barbara. She is going to come here and she's going to be telling us her story. Barbara, come here. I'm going to sit on the chair.
You need to stand up. Thank you. Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please. Ah, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Barbara. And like the doctor said, when I came here first, I was in my wheelchair and I was taking some very strong medication. Every which way I turn, I'm crying and calling for my aid. I'm up and down through the apartment. I'm butting my head, pounding my head. I just couldn't get rid of these pains. And the doctor gave me the medication, which helped for a few hours, and then boom, back in pains again. Then I have a very beautiful family in Long Island. They follow Jason. And they told me about the EESystem. They said, we need you to try it. I said, okay, I'll try. And they gave me the address and the name of the facility, and I came. My aide pushed me in the wheelchair with the help of one of the guards out front. And like the doctor said, she and 2 of her members of staff helped me in the back. I went in, could barely walk for the pains I were having. I fell asleep, thanking God and asking him to touch my tummy and all over my body where I have the pains, because I am not claiming it. It's not my portion. I said to him, you are my Jehovah Rapha, the healer. You healed the lady with the 12-year blood issue. You raised Jairus' daughter off of her deathbed, and you called Lazarus from his grave. And if you do that for them, you are doing it for me now. And by your blood, your stripes, and your grace, I, Barbara, am healed. And I lie down there, and I start to say the Lord's Prayer. And then I start singing. I fell asleep. When I woke up, God be the glory. I didn't have those pains because our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ took them away. He said, ask and it shall be given. Seek and we will find. And I asked him and he took them. I know some people will say, she just went in there and come back out because she don't got no pains. Yes, it is true. It is true. And I come here as a testimony to that. And I start saying, I hear my Savior say, thy faith in thee is small. Child of weakness, watch and pray. Find in me thine all and all. Jesus paid it all to him I owe. Sin has left a crimson stain, he washed it white as snow. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. So ladies and gentlemen out there, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. If you have pains, if you have cancer, like the doctor said, I had the cancer, I'm free.
So when was the last time you saw a doctor, the cancer doctor?
I think it was June, earlier June this year.
And what they say?
The first person to say something to me is, Miss Wilson, I have to do your CT again. It's not looking right. I said, how you mean it's not looking right? When I did it 3 months ago, I saw something. But now I'm not seeing what I saw.
I have to look for it.
And you got to do it again. I said, okay, go right ahead. He says, so lie back on the bed. Sorry, the nurse said, lie back on the bed. I lie back on the bed. And he did it again. He said, there's something not right here. I says, yeah, I know, because God took it away. And they look at me and laugh. I says, Father God, I thank you. My Jesus is the Jehovah Rapha, the chief physician, the chief overseer, and the chief healer, sorry. And he is the healer, the mighty Jehovah, the Rapha, the Alpha and the Omega. Lord Jesus. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And I thank my Long Island family.
Yes.
And may the God above continue to richly bless that family. Touch them, Lord. Keep them in your care forever and always. My daughter.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are a gem.
Mm.
You are a gem from the first day I came in. I never thought I would get back out that wheelchair, but you put some good words in my ears. And I'm out of that wheelchair.
Walking.
I'm not going back.
Good for you.
I'm not going back in that wheelchair. Today, I was doing my knees like this. I'm dancing. Remember? I told her I'm dancing. And she, Auntie, go and rest yourself. You're going up at 5 o'clock. And I felt good.
Thank you, Barbara, for sharing.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Next. So, to God be the glory.
Doctor, we have Marilyn who raised
Yes.
her hands and
Yes.
she would like to speak, so I'm gonna bring her on camera.
Sure, yeah, and anybody else who wants to speak, please feel free because we are here to share the real stories. These are real people. These are not actresses or actors. Where's my girl? So
Here.
there's a beautiful, beautiful girl. Her name is Marilyn. She is very spiritual. And as you see, there are people who are not very spiritual. There are people who are very, very spiritual and religious, all walks of life, different backgrounds, different ages, but everybody has the same story. Belief. You have to believe first. Believe in yourself, believe in the higher power, and heal yourself. Everybody heal themselves. So Marilyn, please tell us your story.
Hello, everyone. So I actually have something called adenomyosis, and Dr. Rustamova probably could way better explain it than me, but essentially I have a fibroid. It's interesting because I was very logical. I worked at an asset management firm and I quit earlier in 2022. And I quit early in 2022 because I discovered this fibroid in 2021. And I realized how miserable I was. And I realized how stressed I was in the toxic environment I was in and always have been in, whether it was at home, at school, and now, of course, work. And when I left, well, interestingly enough, I actually became a healer when I left because my spiritual journey had started. And so I had enough trust and faith in the divine, in God, that I decided, like, I don't know how this is going to work, but it's going to work and I'm going to leave. And I ended up going to, before like my insurance ran out, I went to a traditional like gynecological office, and it was, you know, they scare you, right? It's all the things. And they were relentless. I didn't respond back to the calls and they just kept calling back because they want to do something about this fibroid. But I know what they want to do. It was either surgery or hysterectomy because the women in my family, some of them have had hysterectomies, and I knew that wasn't an option for me. And my sister had a surgery to remove hers, and that wasn't an option for me. So I heard God just saying, just wait, a solution is coming. And I was just like, okay. So I'm healing others. I do belief work on subconscious reprogramming. And in the meantime, I'm reprogramming my own subconscious. And earlier, well, no, we started in the summer. It wasn't even that long ago. A couple of friends of mine in Colorado went to this EESystem and they told me about it. And I was just, I'm always skeptical. And so I said, well, you know what? At least I'll feel good if I go. So I'm going to go. I'm going to sign up. And I saw that where I was signing up was a medical office. And I was just like, oh, I had healed my trauma in the past because I've had some very disturbing GYN visits. And I said, well, this is going to be interesting. So I show up, I go into EE, I see myself as whole. I fall asleep and I felt amazing. And Dr. Rustamova, I heard my guidance say, you should stop and say goodbye. I mean, I knew I didn't have to. I could just duck out and leave, which is what I had planned on doing. But I stopped and I said, all right, well, bye. This was really lovely. And Dr. Rustamova asked me, well, what was your experience? And I said, oh, it was really nice. And this is sort of like my first encounter with a medical doctor since I'd done my own subconscious healing and reprogramming. And she asked me, well, what are you working on? And here I am in the office and I'm like, I think like endometriosis. I'm like mumbling. She said, have you been diagnosed? And I'm, oh my gosh. And she said, just come to the back. And I said, I'm going to tell you my story because I'm very honest. I don't lie. And I said, I'm going to tell you my story. I said, I don't know if you're going to believe it or not, but I'm going to tell you my story. She goes, I have that machine in the back. You could tell me anything. I said, okay. I said, well, I wasn't actually diagnosed. I said, the fibroid was found and they wanted to do a lot of testing and they gave me all the gory details of what could happen. And I said, but what was interesting is every single time I made an appointment, somehow it got canceled, or I would show up and, oh, you don't have the right paperwork. Or then it was, I remember I was seeing my other doctor and he was doing a kidney Doppler because my kidneys were bothering me. And he said, oh, no, don't even worry about going to that radiologist. We could do it here. And so I said, oh, great. And then I'm with the technician and she said, I can't do that here. So after 3, it was really clear for me that this is not my path. This is not my route at all. And so Dr. Rustamova said, that's because you were waiting for me. And so Dr. Rustamova gave me a proper diagnosis. I felt comfortable working with EE and her actually tracking my progress because she understood the energy body. So it's not completely gone, but it's reduced in size. The texture has changed. You know, not to get into too many details, but it's a difficult disease to have because you bleed heavily or it presses on your bladder. So it's a life of discomfort and it can be quite painful. Most of that is gone. And so I've had several sessions and I've made a lot of headway. And Barbara reminded me of something today. So thank you for your story. Because it's inspired me. Yeah. That the next time I sit in that room, I know exactly how to show up differently because I took a slight break because I'm actually taking a pause from healing others. And my goal was, I don't want to only just be healing myself. I really want to work. I want someone else. I want to receive from someone else. And this has been me receiving in the best of ways. And my quality of life has improved dramatically because of it. So I'm so grateful. I can't even believe I'm saying it for this medical office that's provided this opportunity. So thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you for sharing, Marilyn. Beautiful. So just a little details about this condition called adenomyosis. It is kind of like a fibroid uterus, but you don't have any borders. It's all fused all the way throughout the whole uterine wall. And typically, if you have fibroid, you have a capsule. So if you do surgery, you can shell it out and remove it. We call it myomectomy. With adenomyosis, it's all spread out throughout the whole uterine body. And the only treatment is hysterectomy. So she was offered hysterectomy by many doctors, only because they couldn't probably see the, I don't know what happened, but when we started her first scan, it was all mushy. You can't see any borders. And I'm like, oh, damn, it is adenomyosis. I didn't say anything, but I knew that the treatment is hysterectomy because it was too big. After, I think, 2 or 3, remind me, Marilyn, was it 2 treatments when we started seeing some borders? And then
Yeah, the second one.
second one, and then each time when she comes, we see more and more defined fibroid, and then it started decreasing in size. So
And the-
she was coming every week, 1 centimeter low, 1 centimeter low every week. So again, this is my observation. And you're right, medical office. We do get some phone calls and emails saying that they don't feel comfortable coming in the medical office. So be it, you know, you have to believe before you heal yourself. So we can't force anyone, but we're blessed to have modalities like ultrasounds and blood tests and all other things where we can actually work you and have the workup on you first to have your baseline, and then retest you and see what is happening and monitor the progress. So thank you, Marilyn, for sharing. If anybody wants to talk about, let us know. Anybody here who wants to say anything about your experience, we here to listen, to hear. Let us know.
Dr. Rustamova, I think we also can take some questions. Maybe people have
Yeah,
questions.
Yes, if we don't have anybody, then we could ask.
Share.
You'll share, come.
Yes. My name is Lorraine Garnett. I did not come with a particular physical ailment. I've always wanted to write, and I did have some neurological problems most of my life that prevented me from doing it. If I sat still in the physical position required of writing, I would pass out. The muscles around, some muscles in my neck when it would go into spasm, and my cerebral spinal fluid would stop flowing. I have a neurologist confirmed that. We have a scan that showed it, and I would start getting, well, not actually passing out, but could not stay alert. And I was dealing with the problem and making a lot of headway before I came here. But when I started coming here just for an hour or 2 at a time, sitting back there with my laptop, and I would write. And it just built up a pattern in me of being able to just be there with my laptop and not have my muscles go into spasm, not have my cerebral spinal fluid stop doing its thing. And I got into a whole new behavior that I've wanted all my life, and I established it in that room.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. So if we have any questions, feel free to ask. If not, we're going to wrap it up. You feel free to ask us any questions. We're here to answer. So it looks like everybody is satisfied. So thank you so much for coming. Beautiful to see you all on our platform. And we're going to be doing those miracle stories more and more. We're going to collecting them. We try to do it maybe once a month or whatever. So stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in and listening. And thank you for sharing all the heroes, all the stars.
Yes.
They hear.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes, love, lots of love. Thank you. Thank you so much. Love and light, everybody. Thanks. Thank you. All right. Bye.
Bye.